Hello, and welcome to episode 120 of the Stress Knits podcast. I am Stacy, also known as Stress Knits Yarn on Instagram, the dyer behind Stress Knits Yarn, and this is my video, podcast, vlogcast, whatever you want to call it, where I talk to you about my works in progress or what I've finished, and yarn. That's about it. I was on a bit of a hiatus for a little bit. I took a break and I'm glad to be back. I feel refreshed. I actually have things to show you. My pug puppy just came in. So if you hear noises, that's her. My daughter Eliza is down for her nap. Doug is working downtown. What else do I tell you? Coming to you from Metro Detroit, Michigan, where it is humid. There's something, it's so humid here. And now, granted, I lived in West Virginia for 4 years when I was in college, and there's nothing like southern humidity, I will admit that, but the humidity here is also disgusting. Like, however hot it is, it's usually the humidity at index. So like today's like 89 and it's probably close to 89% humidity. It is hot and humid and sticky and gross, but that's okay because it's not going to last very long. Thank goodness. All right, so this is not a weather podcast. This is a knitting podcast. And I have some finished objects. I feel like this is not... I don't know. I haven't done this in like 3-4 weeks. So I have no idea what's happening. We're just going to go with it. All right. I need to finish that row. Okay. Finished objects. I finished my test knit sweater. I can't show it to you until mid-November, which is so hard because I'm staring at it. It's hanging up right here. And it's my dream sweater. I knit it in Eloise, which is this colorway. This is Eloise. It's a perfect pink. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. It's an oversized, perfect knit that everybody's going to want to knit. Calling it now. Everyone's going to make one. Saying it. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. If you're new, I'm so sorry that this is the first one you're watching. This is not how I normally am, or maybe it is. But we're getting back into the swing of things. It's going to be a little rough. Anyway, I finished something else, and I think this might be a surprise to a lot of you. But I finished my Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. Now this was a knit vent pattern last year, so 2019. And I used the Stress Knits 2019 Advent Calendar. So here it is. I knit, I don't know how many grams I used per skein because my minis are 20 grams and I think this pattern called for 10 grams of use, so I know I used at least 10 grams, but the further along into it when the stripes were a little skinnier, I know I used a bit more. So yes, I highly recommend this pattern if you have Advents coming this year. It's just so simple and it's such a good throw blanket. I wish I would have used every scrap of the yarn because it would have been a much bigger blanket, but it's perfect for my daughter who is 2. So yeah, if I put it on my lap, I mean, I'm short, but if I put it on my lap, it covers my toes here. So it's like a nice lap blanket, good for kids, and it's a way to actually use your mini skeins. This would also be really great for scraps and just kind of go until you reach the size you want width-wise and then just start decreasing. But yes, so I finished this. I'm super happy I did because it's just one more thing off my needles, and I'm in a big finishing mood right now, but I also want to cast on everything. So I'm trying to finish some stuff up because I really want the empty needles so that I can cast on more. So those are finished objects. Works in progress. I'm knitting on 2 socks right now. I'm going to show you the one that I showed last time first. So this is Stress Knits yarn. This is my sparkle base, which I don't dye very often. There's a good amount in the shop right now. But this is my Dusk colorway. I don't know if you can see the sparkle, but it is just so beautiful. I'm almost done with the leg. My nose itches. Yeah, it's just a vanilla sock. I use US 2.25 millimeter needles. I cast on 64 stitches, do 20 rounds of 2x2 rib, knit the leg until I feel like it's good, and then I do a heel flap and gusset, and then I just knit the foot to fit my foot and do a wedge toe. That's my vanilla sock. I love it. It's just really good knitting to grab and go. And I also cast on, I have mohair in my mouth. I cast on another sock in a colorway that I brought back from the advent calendar, but I renamed it Stress Knits because it's my colors, and it just makes me really happy. So it's a mint green, a dusty pink, and gray speckles. And it kind of micro stripes, but also not really. And I was really happy that it didn't pool in the gusset. So that was exciting. But yeah, it's just the same formula, same needles. Yeah, this is my favorite base. It is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So I'm knitting socks again, which feels really great. And it's also nice to have something that I can work on when I'm playing with Eliza or just have around in case I can get a few rows in. Next thing that I'm working on, I'm going to finish this round really quick. I am working on my Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs, and I love it. I'm a little bummed that I didn't redo a gauge swatch because I gauged for this a long time ago and then I didn't cast it on until February, and my gauge has changed drastically since when I swatched for it. So it's coming out to a medium when I'm knitting an extra large because I wanted it to be oversized, and it fits. I think it looks fine, but it's not this oversized comfy sweater that I wanted it to be, so I'll probably knit another one. We'll see though. So this is where I'm at. This is, I already said what it is, my Cozy Classic Raglan. I am using Stress Knit Single, an accidental Gemini, just single ply yarn, and then Halo in the same colorway. And I finished the first sleeve. So I made one modification with the sleeve. When I picked up the sleeves and I started knitting, I felt like they were going to be too small. They were not. But yeah, so I just knit the arm straight, no decreases, until I got to the cuff, and I did knit 1, knit 2 together all the way around, and then started the ribbing. And then I'm working on the second sleeve. So I'm almost done. I'm getting there. And I just really love this color, and I love this pattern. And again, it does fit. It's just not as roomy as I wanted it to be. So for sure going to knit another one. This is how many decreases I have, or I'm doing rounds of 10. So I'm getting there. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to finish it up. But yeah, I'm really excited with how this is turning out. And that is all I've been working on. That's it. The test knit took up a lot of my knitting time, and I also did a lot of yarn dyeing. So I didn't have a lot of time to knit. Yeah, but I wanted to give you a few updates on the shop and a few updates on Patreon. So if you're not interested in those, feel free to end this here. And I will talk to you next time. It's a really short episode, but that's okay sometimes, right? But I'm going to talk about Patreon first so that any patrons or people who want to become patrons know what's going on. And then I'll talk about shop update, all of that jazz. So Patreon, I am working on getting some more content. I'm filming a segment after this for my $10 and up patrons because they get the extra video content besides Whip Down, which is $5 and up. Yes. So I will be going through my upcoming cast-ons, what I'm thinking about casting on, what yarns I really want to use, and all of that. I'm thinking about also posting a stash enhancement segment for Patreon because I've bought a few things during this COVID time to support friends and colleagues that just do beautiful work, and I'm so excited to share that with you. So I think I'm going to do that over on Patreon. And then I also have a vlog that I'm editing from our first day out as a family. We did it. I just want to clarify that it was very safe. We were in the car almost the entire time, except for when we got to Doug's office, which we were the only ones there. So, yeah, and when we got coffee, but everyone was wearing masks and was staying very far away from each other. And they had went up to the door and there was a table to separate you from the workers, and they took your order, and it was great. I didn't have to go into a shop, which I really don't want to do right now. So it was really great, and it's keeping them safe, and everyone was wearing masks, which is so good. And yeah, so it was like a very safe outing. And yeah, there's also going to be some video from what did we do? Eliza and I went swimming with at my parents' house, which is a mile down the road. So we walked on over and we swam for a little bit and ate dinner with them. So yeah, it's just a nice little vlog, and you get to see parts of Detroit that I love, and Doug's office and all of that fun stuff. So I hope you're excited for that. I'm really excited to work on it and put it up for you. I'm having a big surge of creative energy, and I really can't wait to see what that brings. And you'll be getting some sneak peeks of new stitch markers coming. And I will also be taking patrons on Advent making. So all of that is coming down the road for Patreon. And then let's talk about shop. So I had a large shop update yesterday. There were about 500 skeins that went into the shop. It's a lot of work. But thank you to everybody who showed up and bought something, or shared a post, or liked a post and commented. It meant the world to me. I always get really nervous about shop updates. There's this weird cycle that I get into with my dyeing. So I start out and I'm like, okay, I need to clean the kitchen, I need to set it up, and I need to just work. I just need to get it done, and once I'm set up, I'm good. And it's true. Once I'm set up, I'm good. And I dye for 2 to 4 days straight, just 16 hours a day, just going for it. And then after that's done, I'm like, oh my, it's just everything worked out perfectly. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm so excited to share these. Then we take pictures and I'm like, everyone's going to hate this. No one's going to buy anything. And then I start posting things and I'm like, maybe. And then I add everything to the shop and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way anyone's going to buy anything. And then people buy things. And then I cry. And it feels really good. That's just this weird cycle that I'm in right now. So it's really validating when people buy yarn, and it also helps our family, and it just means the world. So thank you to everybody who has purchased this past update or ever. It means so much. So I wanted to quickly show you the new thing. I keep forgetting to bring things over. So sorry, yesterday. Let's just do this. Okay. It's basically the same thing. So I have a new offering. It is 50-gram skeins of favorite, worsted, and DK. DK is right here. I just didn't feel like reaching across to Esther because she's snoozing. But yes, so these are half skeins of my worsted, favorite, and DK base. The DK base is slightly different than the full skein base, but it feels similar and looks almost identical, so I feel like it's a perfect companion to the regular skeins. I feel like this episode is awful, but we're just gonna go for it. Sorry. I was not prepared at all for this. Okay. Take a deep breath, drink some coffee. Okay. So the whole reason behind 50-gram skeins, these are things I've had in my possession. I've had the favorite 50 grams for about 6 months. But I didn't know how I wanted to do it. I didn't know if I was going to do it with sock sets. I didn't know if I was only going to do speckles or semi-solids. I just had no idea what I wanted to do. So I did both. For favorite, I did both. I did some popular speckled colorways and then popular tonal semi-solid colorways. And then on DK and worsted, I only did tonal colorways. So this is something I wanted to offer for a really long time because it's so frustrating when you see a pattern, and especially like color work or something that has stripes, and then you look at how many yards or grams you need and it's like 20 to 30 grams. And then you're buying a $22 to $26 skein or more, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I can use it in another project. Maybe I can make a hat afterwards, which is usually what I do. But also sometimes you just can't justify buying a full skein when you're only going to use 20 grams of it. So I wanted to offer something that's a little more cost effective. I know it's still indie dyed prices because that is what it is. And I just hope that this helps when you're making color work or things like the throwback or the throw over, or if you're doing, I don't know, anything with like a color work yoke that uses, like the Mackworth pullover. That's also by Andrea Mowry. I used like 20 grams of each colorway. And then I had essentially 3 extra full skeins that I had to pay for on top of the 4 full skeins for the body. So I wanted to I wanted to have something that just makes that a little bit more accessible to more people. It just doesn't make you want to cry as much. And also they're just super cute. And let's say you want to knit a baby hat. 1 skein of the worsted halves will get you a baby hat or a kid hat. And I'm just really excited about that. So I hope you love them as much as I do. I wish I could do this with the fluffy bases, so Surrey and Halo, but my mill doesn't create those, and I don't have room or the money to get the equipment that I would need to make them. So maybe down the road, but for right now, it's just favorite, worsted, and DK halves. I love them. I love them so much. All right, I think that's it. So there are still plenty of these in the shop. I need to start packing orders, so I'm going to do that after I record my Patreon episode. So I will see you next week, hopefully with a finished sweater and a new cast on. That's the goal. So I will see you next time. Bye.